Hey everybody, this is JMPLGT4. Week 3 of college football is here. I know I'm getting these in a little bit late, but better late than never. I'm going to go ahead and start off with our Big 12 games for the week. Let me briefly touch on the game that transpired last night. Kansas played Southern Miss. I don't know what to expect from Kansas. They got beat 31-16 last night against Southern. They got beat 31-16 last night. Southern Miss beat them. I don't know what to expect from these guys. They lose by 3 points in a low-scoring game first week against North Dakota State. Come back the following week and they trounce a freaking top 25 team and number 15 Georgia Tech. And then last night they ended up playing Southern Miss and get beat 31-16. I don't know what in the hell is going on with those guys. I kind of feel sorry for Turner Gill. I mean, it's kind of crappy whenever you go in and you beat a team as good as Georgia Tech, and you can't continue to deliver at that level of play. I think that's pretty sorry. I'll move on now from that game. We got coming up here in about 30 minutes, kickoff for the Iowa State-Kansas State game. Iowa State is 1-1, Kansas is 2-0. First conference game of the year. Kansas State's going to win this game. I think their running back. Excuse me, their running back is going to be all over the place. Daniel Thomas. He's been extremely phenomenal the last couple of games for Kansas State, and I don't see him letting up against something I would probably consider a subpar Iowa State defense. I say Kansas State wins that game. Let's move on to probably one of the biggest games of the afternoon. We got a few in the Big 12. Oklahoma and Air Force. Oklahoma better be careful. Air Force is 2-0. Oklahoma is 2-0. Air Force, last game the Air Force played was last week, and they ended up beating Brigham Young, BYU, 35-14. That was a big win for me for Air Force. I was not expecting it. I'm not going to say that, it's going to be a for sure thing that Air Force is going to come in here and beat Oklahoma, but you know what? Given the level of play that Oklahoma played the first week, is it possible for Oklahoma to revert back and play a horrible game and Air Force take over and win? No, it's not impossible, but at the same time, Air Force could have a really crappy game, this week, and Oklahoma could make them look silly. But I think overall Oklahoma's going to win, but they can't sleep on Air Force. They've got to come fully prepared, because that's a pretty decent little team, Air Force, and they just better watch out. They can't let them capitalize on any turnovers or field position or anything where I think they'll end up giving Oklahoma a pretty good scare on the day. Let's move on to Hawaii and Colorado. Wow. Colorado, they come in the first week. They beat a young Colorado State team pretty convincingly, 21-point game. So it was 24-3, nowhere even close. I was totally wrong about that one. I was not familiar with Colorado State and figured that they might win that one 2 weeks ago against Colorado, but I was wrong. But last week I was right, and Colorado got smashed by California. Hawaii, I don't know, man. They barely lost two weeks ago against number 14 USC ranked team, 49-36. They have the offensive production there that I believe Colorado doesn't. So I'm actually, Colorado is favored in this game. I'm giving it to Hawaii. I do not think Colorado's going to win this game. I don't see it happening. So I'm giving this game to Hawaii. I think they're going to win. I think they have the opportunity to win big, the same way California won last week on Colorado. Moving on here, we got Nebraska and Washington. This is going to be another good game. Washington had a horrible loss, 2 weeks ago, an opening week against BYU. It was a real close game, 6-point game. But last week they took care of Syracuse by 21 points. Jake Locker, he's going to be he's going to be a team that you're really going to always have to. You're always really going to have to be concerned about. I mean, how he can just hurt anybody in any game on any given Saturday. With the skill set that he has, do I think he's going to have the tools to beat a solid defense like Nebraska today? Yeah, I think he does, but do I think it's going to happen? Nah, I don't. Nebraska is just too good of a football team. I don't think that he's going to be able to pull one out on them. I'm giving this win to Nebraska. Then we move on to TCU and Baylor. There were a lot of people who were saying, oh, TCU better watch out. Baylor could come in and upset them. I am sorry. I do not see this one occurring at all. Yeah, TCU is a, BCS buster team. Playing in the Mountain West Conference. But you know what? They won 2 weeks ago against an Oregon, a number 20 ranked, number 24 ranked Oregon State team, which a lot of people thought were going to be a national contender themselves, and they pulled off several good wins this year. And they beat them by 9 points. It was a good game. Do I think Baylor can compete on that level? No, I don't think Baylor can compete on that level. I say TCU wins that one, and probably I think they shut Robert Griffin down. I think they win big. We move on to our next game, which I'm not going to touch on much because I'll probably make another video after this. Texas A&M and Florida International. Texas A&M is going to win big on this game. I think they're going to shut down Florida International, and of course their offense can't be stopped. I'm interested in trying to see whether or not they can shape up on their special team woes they've been having and actually get some offensive production going in the first half of the game and just be consistent throughout. That's what I'm hoping to happen today in that game. A&M will win the game. We'll move on. This is always kind of an interesting sort of game, as is Oklahoma and Tulsa. This is the Oklahoma State-Tulsa game. Tulsa's 1-1 on the year, 0-1 in conference play. Played Bowling Green last week, who I believe is in their conference. Nope, I'm wrong. They played 2 weeks ago against conference team in the East Carolina Pirates, and the turnout was they lost by 2 points against East Carolina in a 51-49 shootout, but they ended up winning by almost 2 touchdowns last week against Bowling Green. Tulsa is one of those teams that's always really scary. You never know what in the hell they're going to do. You can't ever go into that game saying, oh, it's Tulsa, we're going to beat the pants off them. So I think Oklahoma State has to watch out. I'm going to be very honest with you about it. I was very unimpressed by the win they had this last week in a game that was just, in my opinion, way too close. They played Washington State week 1 and trounced them 65-17. Come back and play Troy and beat them by 3 points in a 41-38 shootout. If they play that way this week against Tulsa, they might have the opportunity to get beat. They just got to watch out, play their best, and if they do, I think they pull out the win against Tulsa. But if they screw up, they will more than likely lose the game. Moving on to Missouri, San Diego State. Missouri should win this one. Should win it pretty easily. I don't think they'll have any issues against San Diego State. And then probably the biggest game of the week, not the biggest game. I'm not going to take anything away from Oklahoma or Nebraska on this one, but a game that everybody is probably looking forward to seeing is number 6 Texas against Texas Tech Red Raiders. You know, I'm an Aggie. I don't like the Texas Longhorns. I think they're extremely overrated. I think they've been untested the last 2 games, and have they put up pretty good numbers? Have they beat the 2 teams that they played the last 2 weeks convincingly in Rice and who the hell did they play last week? Rice and Wyoming. Yeah, they beat them convincingly. I mean, 34-17 and 34-7, the 2 scores in their last 2 games. I mean, you know, you're looking at a 28-point game and a 17-point game, both games. I mean, it's nowhere close. But whenever you're talking about a national championship contending Texas Longhorn team against 2 teams that should not even touch the athletic ability and the talent Texas has on their team, for them to, I mean, the beginning of the games on both of those games looked like if it continued the way it did, Texas might have the opportunity of losing the damn game. I think if they go in and they play that way against Texas Tech, I'm sorry, I don't see it happening. I think Texas Tech wins that game in a hostile environment such as Lubbock. Man, Texas better watch out. What's going to be key for the Longhorns to win this game, which I hope they don't, is they have to get their offense rolling. They haven't gotten it rolling the last two games. I don't think they've figured out who they are on offense, and that's a scary thing for them because they've already committed the year to, hey, Garrett Gilbert, he's not really a Colt McCoy. He can't really tuck it and run out of the pocket as well as Colt McCoy. So you know what? We want to make it a little bit more traditional style offense. Let's make it to his liking and change your offense, put it on our running backs, and even they haven't been doing all so great. So they better find out who they are on offense. They better find out quick if they decide to go in and try and beat the Texas Tech Red Raiders tonight. I think Texas will win. I hope they don't. I hope Tech pulls out the upset. But that's all I got. Gig 'em, saw 'em off, bleed maroon forever. See you later.